Hi, everybody. Happy Tuesday. I am Dr. Chris. I'm an aspiring silver with Young Living, a Los Angeles based chiropractor of 30 years, a wife, a mom of 3 adult children, so much more. But that's all we need to know for now, right? So I am here to talk about essential oils for joint support. Yeah. Last week, I talked about essential oils and Young Living products that support muscles. And I highly recommend that you check out that post, as many of the oils and blends that I spoke about for muscles also support joints. And I'm going to put a link in the description for you so you can do that after the show. So, just a little bit about what joints are. They are where two bones come together in the body and they create an opportunity for movement, right? So at our elbow joint, we can extend, we can bend, we can rotate. We can move at our joints. That's basically what they do. And when we talk about the movement, where the bones come together generally have a type of cartilage that's going to help make them smooth and slippery. And then some joints are going to have synovial fluid to keep that movement moving and fluid, right? So that they're not rubbing up against each other. Now, vertebral joints, the bones that are in our spine, and actually I have a spine here because I was just talking about the thoracic spine on my Dr. Christine Anderson chiropractor channel, where we have a vertebra. Between each vertebra, we have a disc. So that's a joint there where the vertebra have some movement depending on where it is in the spine. And that disc also helps to cushion the forces and create a space where that nerve can come out. So joint motion is going to depend on proper alignment of the bones as well as proper movement of the joints by the muscles and how those muscles attach to the bones via the tendons and how those bones are held together via the ligaments. So that's why I'm kind of breaking all of this down to muscles, joints. Next week, we're going to talk about ligaments. So a lot of times people will use the term arthritis. Now that term is a general one. The arth is the word that designates joint, and itis always means inflammation. So arthritis literally means inflammation of a joint. There are different types of arthritis, and the most common joint issue is osteoarthritis, osteo meaning bone. And that's the one people talk about with wear and tear of the joint versus something like rheumatoid arthritis, which is an inflammatory autoimmune issue. So it has a different component to it. Nonetheless, both of these things can create pain and loss of motion at the joint and inflammation. And, it's no fun. I mean, just because I am a chiropractor doesn't mean I'm immune to these things. So I can tell you I have benefited greatly from the use of essential oils to help me keep my active lifestyle. So I use them as a part of what I do. Essential oils are not a cure oil, right? They're not going to cure joint problems. Only our bodies can cure themselves. So I'm using it as support for my system and giving it ways to help maybe deal with some of the pain and inflammation, but it's also other things like getting adjusted, doing stretches and exercises, and having a non-inflammatory diet. So it's just a part of all of this. You can't just, unfortunately, you can't just take an oil and have everything be okay, right? So it's part of our keeping ourselves above the wellness line, wellness support. Now, really cool studies suggest that essential oils can actually relieve major symptoms of joint issues like inflammation, swelling, stiffness, pain. And they are considered generally safe to use alongside either alternative or conventional treatments, whatever it is that you're using. So I'm going to dive right in and start talking about them. Number one oil is Eucalyptus radiata. I bet you didn't think I was going to say that, right? But this is one that has been studied and shown in these studies to reduce inflammation, swelling, and pain. So a 2013 study involved people who underwent total knee replacement surgery, and those that inhaled preparations of eucalyptus essential oil at a 30-minute interval for 3 days in a row noticed a reduction in pain. And they also had it also had an influence on their blood pressure. And that's the thing with essential oils, right? They have so many components and constituents. It's not like a drug where you just take it for one thing. It's a plant, and plants can do so many things. So this is why, as we start to use essential oils for one issue and one support, we might notice changes in another. So most research recommends either inhaling eucalyptus oil directly or adding a few drops to a warm bath with Epsom salts. And I imagine too, you could also make a compress where you put a eucalyptus essential oil on a warm or cool towel that's been soaked in the oil and put it directly on your joint for some relief. So that would make sense to me, especially if a bath helps, right? So that is essential oil number one. And by the way, I will put all the links to the research in the description. So you'll have everything there. This is not stuff that I'm just making up. This is stuff that's actually been studied, all right? Now, frankincense is a really interesting one. And a lot of people will take something called boswellia. And it's like, yeah, I'm taking boswellia. Boswellia for this, boswellia for inflammation. Well, that is the Latin name, or I think that's Latin, the genus name for this frankincense is Boswellia cartere. And then you've got the sacred frankincense also. So we have the two genuses with Young Living. Now, practitioners of traditional medicine have used the frankincense resin and essential oils for thousands of years to help with mild, everyday, chronic aches and pains and inflammation. And studies have confirmed this anti-inflammatory action caused by major chemical constituents of frankincense. So I'm not going to go into them greatly, but you'll hear, I'm sure you've heard about terpenes. They are super important, and they're an aspect that we talk about with CBD. And boswellic acids, and they appear to be the strongest anti-inflammatory components found in frankincense. So the thing with boswellic acid that you have to realize when you're looking at these studies is that when you make the frankincense essential oil, you're distilling, pardon me, I don't even have my Ningxia handy, crazy. You're distilling the essential oil from the resin. And in that process, you are not going to have those boswellic acids necessarily in the essential oil, but you do have it in the resin. And this is the frankincense resin from Young Living. So you can actually get this, and believe it or not, so I'm going to kind of pour it out so you can kind of see what this looks like. I got to bring my camera down. There we go. Right? It looks like little rocks. And you can grind this into a powder. I heard that you should freeze it I haven't done that yet, but I heard that you should freeze it first. So I probably will at some point experiment so that it doesn't get all gummy, because this is what people used for centuries for gum. So you can just take a little granule and you can actually chew on it. Depending on how much you put in your mouth, I guess you could actually have gum. I'm not a gum chewer, so I don't like doing that. But yeah, that is boswellia resin, which would contain those boswellic acids, and then the terpenes are going to be in the oil as well. All right. So according to the Arthritis Foundation, the boswellic acids in frankincense resin have an anti-inflammatory and analgesic. That means analgesic is blocking pain properties. And so it can also help to reduce the autoimmune response found with rheumatoid arthritis, especially, and prevent cartilage damage. So again, I'm going to put a link to that study. Young Living does have a product that has boswellia powder already in it, and that is Agiles. Now, I haven't used Agiles because unfortunately it has collagen in it from an animal. And being a vegan, I don't eat any animal products. So I have not tried it, but I've heard a lot of people rave about Agiles if that's something that appeals to you. All right, lavender. Really, what can it do? Swiss Army knife of essential oils. I mean, if you only had 2 oils to carry around, I would say lavender and frankincense, because I consider frankincense like the second runner-up. So lavender has long been used to reduce pain as well as anxiety, depression. We know it kind of chills us out. It can be inhaled. It can be applied topically. You can add it to a warm bath. And with the lavender vitality, you can even take it internally. So it has so many applications. They did a 2016 study, and they tested the effects of a 5% mixture of lavender essential oil diluted in sweet almond oil on osteoarthritis of the knee. Participants who massaged 5 milliliters of the mixture of which that's about the size. So this is how much oil they used each application, but it was diluted. It was only a 5% mixture. So that would be, I know percentages get a little crazy, but if you just make it this way, half the bottle is 50%, a quarter of that is 25%. And then if you take half of that, that's 12.5%. Half of that is going to be around 6. So about this much of essential oil and then filled with a carrier oil would be what a 5% mixture would be. So I just kind of do that logically. All right, so participants massage 5 milliliters of the mixture of lavender and the sweet almond oil onto their swollen joints 9 times over the course of 3 weeks and reported reduced pain after the first week. So, this is what they've been looking at. I always say there's something for everybody, and it's certainly worth a try for you. Now, another oil that you might not necessarily think of as far as an essential oil for helping with joints is ginger. So this is the Vitality, and that's the one that's labeled for internal use. And the ginger oil in the Vitality, you know what? I don't even think Young Living makes one for aromatic use. I think you can only get the 5 ml. But it's an oil that if they had a label for topical and aromatic, you could use it for that too, right? So a lot of research has been done with ginger extracts and essential oils on pain and inflammation, especially with arthritis. Now, there's a difference between the two, so I just want to make this clear. Essential oils are the concentrated, volatile, aromatic compounds of a plant that are usually just extracted through steam distillation. The exception to that would be our citrus oils, which are cold pressed. The extracts, however, on the other hand, tend to be a type of infusion or tincture. So they're taking the ginger, the plant, and then putting that ginger, cutting it up or grating it or whatever they're doing to it, and putting it into some type of situation to draw out the chemical constituents from the plant. So that could be like an alcohol, like a vodka, or an oil to pull those out. So that's going to be a little bit different when we talk about this, but it's still the aspect of ginger being really, really healing for pain and inflammation. So there was a May 2020 review of clinical trials. They looked at a lot of trials that had already been done, and this was recently, on the use of ginger for its pain lowering effect and found it safe and promising. Researchers discovered that ginger's slight burning sensation affects the pain pathways directly and quickly to relieve inflammation, which can also, the inflammation itself can also create pain. So it kind of blocks it both ways. So you can put a few drops of ginger in a carrier oil and apply it directly to your joint for support. You can also put a drop or two or more, depending on what's going on and how you can tolerate, of ginger vitality in a capsule alone, or maybe with some other synergistic vitality oils that would work with ginger, along with a carrier oil, and take a few times per day. The other great thing with the vitality oil is that you can use this in your smoothies, your tea, curries, anything that's already cooked. I don't tend to usually cook with the oils because they are volatile and I don't want to lose all that good stuff. But just beware that essential oils can be up to 70 times as strong as their dried and fresh herb counterparts. So let me tell you, you want to start with like a toothpick and test it and try it out with something that you're ingesting, because one drop even can be too much with some of the essential oils. They're going to have superior flavor and potency over dried herbs because as your herbs sit there, they actually lose their volatility because those oils in the plant start to evaporate. So in an essential oil, the essence of the plant, that therapeutic energy, is preserved much better and will be carried over into your recipes when you're using the essential oils. Now, here's probably the most surprising to most people is basil. Okay. Love it in our pesto, right? And by the way, this is great to make pesto with. So you always have it on hand if you have your essential oil. Basil contains a wide variety of potential therapeutic compounds. And you know, I'm definitely speaking of Young Living essential oils because we don't know with some of these other oils on the market if they are even therapeutic. So for sure, we know with Young Living that the way they're being grown and distilled and harvested and that seed to seal promise is making sure that we have the most therapeutic oils on the planet. So basil includes a compound called 1,8-cineol, which has anti-inflammatory effects, and linalool, a compound that's been shown to reduce swelling in mice and rats. A 2013 study found that rats with induced arthritis had reduced joint swelling after being administered 150 to 300 milligrams per kilogram of basil essential oil extract daily. So that was an extract. Remember, we talked about the difference between extract and essential oils. Essential oils are going to be far more potent because they're more concentrated. So I'm not sure how that would relate, but basically, as with most things, everybody's different. So you just want to start low and go slow and see what you feel. In that study, they also found that the rats had less swelling and a lower risk of cartilage damage. So good stuff, right? Add basil to everything. All right, two more to go, I think, basically. Peppermint and wintergreen. So these are two powerhouses. I speak about them in greater detail on the muscle support, so go back to that. But peppermint oil is one of the oldest medicinal plants in the world, and it's highly effective for helping to support joints and reduce pain and inflammation because of a component called menthol. Menthol acts as a cooling agent that works to ease discomfort, tension, pain, so many things. And again, studies are finding that it can help reduce joint pain and inflammation very quickly because of that menthol. Now, wintergreen has been historically used in North America for, you're going to hear something called rheumatism. And again, rheum meaning joints, and ism meaning of the joints. So things that go on with joints. That's with rheumatism. It's a very general, broad category. Also helping with things like occasional back pain and joint pain and headaches too. So just, the mild everyday stuff. The leaves of the wintergreen tree contain methyl salicylate. This is a compound I talk about a lot when I talk about wintergreen because it has the similar qualities and properties as aspirin, which is a derivative of methyl salicylate that was isolated from wintergreen and birch, very similar. So this is a great essential oil for helping to ease occasional mild joint and muscle pain. Now, what they did find is that if you combine these two together, then they have a synergistic action, and it actually gives better pain relief than either oil alone. And this was noted in a 2014 study published in the Journal of Alternative and Complementary Medicine. So that's what happens a lot of time. These combination of essential oils, the alchemy of the plants, can help potentiate the individual effects of each oil. And therefore, you don't need to use as much of either because they kind of play off of each other. And therefore, if you're using lesser dose, then there's less issues with having any problems with it. So this is probably why Young Living's Deep Relief, Panaway, and Cool Azul contain a combo of wintergreen and peppermint. And again, I go over those in the supporting the muscle video. All right, we're almost there. I've got a couple of other things. I went through the major oils. I just want to talk a little bit about the CBD muscle and joint balm, joint and muscle balm. It's pretty amazing. And if you have not tried this yet, it's really amazing. It's got that menthol action from the essential oils with peppermint in being one of the oils in here. And it's pretty immediate. It's pretty amazing. So I highly recommend you checking that out. I'll put a link to my video I did on CBD so that you can learn all about it because CBD is pretty phenomenal. A couple of other things I want to talk about. This is my sulfurzyme bottle. So, wow, that is washed out. There we go. That's a little better. I like the powder. You can get it in the capsules too. And I'm going to kind of lump these together because they kind of go together in my world. This is my Ningxia. Look at that, like 2 inches of puree there. Crazy. But this stuff, these two things together are super powerful. These are two of the main components in my red drink that I do every single day. I also add lime oil in. Again, I will put a link to that because I do talk about the benefits of sulfurzyme, which contain sulfur, and we need sulfur as a component. It's one of the major components of our joints. Also connective tissue, hair, nails, skin, all those things need sulfur. But if you've got joint issues, you definitely want to make sure you have a source of sulfur in there. And Ningxia Red has so many great things in it, but the flavonoids and polyphenols in the fruits that are in there and the essential oils that are in there can help, again, with reducing inflammation and combating free radical formation, which is a thing that can damage our joints. All right, we're on the last thing. This is a new product, guys. Have you tried this yet? This is the spiced turmeric herbal tea. It's really, really good. It is not caffeinated, so its base is rooibos or red tea. It comes in these really cool sachets and smells heavenly. I wish you guys had smell vision. Ooh. Woo! So I'm going to just go down the line and read here. We have organic ginger root, organic cinnamon bark, organic rooibos leaves and stems, organic fennel seed, organic black pepper, organic turmeric root, organic sarsaparilla root, and natural flavors. Oil pairing, they're recommending to have it with fennel vitality, tangerine vitality, cinnamon bark vitality. I would say why not ginger, because of that warming effect there, right, for the inflammation and the pain. So this is pretty yummy, and the key here is turmeric. So turmeric has an active ingredient in it called curcumin that, again, a lot of studies have been done showing the anti-inflammatory properties and its ability to help with circulation in general. Now, its ability to be absorbed into our body and be bioavailable for use is going to be enhanced by black pepper, not the essential oil, actually black pepper, which is why they put black pepper in there. Very smart. A review published in 2016 reports that turmeric extract appears to reduce symptoms of arthritis. So again, I will put all the links to the studies in the description. Now, if you're taking any medication for any health issue, you're always going to want to consult your healthcare provider before using essential oils, just to make sure that sometimes if you're using essential oils, it might have a synergistic effect with your medication, and you might actually need to lower medication, or maybe it's counteracting the effects. So you always want to check that out. If your joint pain worsens or doesn't get better, please seek out the care of a health professional. Do not just keep putting oils on. All right, everybody, I hope you found this video helpful in supporting the health of your joints. If you did, click the like button, share it with your friends and family so they can have happy joints too. Subscribe so you know when I make a post. And then I will see you next Tuesday, 7 p.m. Pacific Daylight Savings Time. I'm going to delve into those essential oils for supporting your ligaments. All right, good night.